What's up, guys? We have this whole project. I'm making a little gate out of some tubing, and I need to saddle the cross brace so that it fits nicely on the other tube. So I'll show you what I'm talking about here. So I've got this outside frame all tacked up, and now I need to cut these pieces so that they have a nice little saddle so that they'll fit in between here nicely, and then I can weld all the way around that saddle. So I'm going to show you how I lay that out and how I cut that to fit. Alright, so the first thing that I need to do to lay this out is I need a center line on the tube, and I need to be able to transfer the center line from one side to the other accurately so that, you know, I can lay out both sides the same, and it won't be the clocking won't be off when I go to put it in the frame. So I need to put a center line on one side, and then I need to transfer that to the other end using this snap line here. So that's what I'm going to do. Now I have the center line from one end to the other, and they'll line up on both sides. So now I can start to do my saddle off of that. Or actually it would be like this. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to mark my center line on this side. That way I don't lose it. Alright, so now on both sides I need to transfer my center line 180 degrees to the other side so that I can lay out my saddle on both sides and it'll be accurate and the clocking won't be off. So I can do that one of two ways. I can just get the circumference by manually using a roll tape and measuring all the way around and dividing that in half. Or I can just take the diameter of this times pi, and that will give me the circumference as well, and I can divide that in half. I know that this is a 2-inch pipe, so I can take that 2 inches and I can divide that or times that by pi, and that will give me my circumference, and I can divide that by half. And then I'm going to take my roll of tape and just go around to the other side and mark another center line on both sides so that I know where I'm at. So my 2 inches times pi is 6.28, so I take that and divide it in half, and that gives me 3.14. So I'm just going to go just over 3 1/8 inches around the circumference of the pipe, and then mark another line on the back side, 3.14. Alright, you may have trouble seeing that, but I have a line now. That's actually at 4.14 because I started on the one line. That way I'm nice and accurate. Okay, so now to double check this and make sure that my math was correct there, I'm just going to turn this around. I'm just going to turn this around and go from the other side and make sure that it's the same length. Okay? So now I check from the other direction, and I can see that I'm just over 4 1/8 inches, maybe a little bit off from this side, so I'll just kind of split the difference and call it good. So now I have layout on both sides, 180 degrees from each other. And that way my saddle will be nice and even when I put it in there. Alright, so now I've done the same thing on both sides. I have a center line on both sides of the pipe, 180 degrees from each other, and now I can start my saddle. So the next part is I need about 1/3 of the pipe diameter is going to be how far I come back on my saddle, so that it starts about 1/3 of the diameter back here and then curves out to the saddle and comes back. And if you have a third of the distance back, it will fit nice and snug and have the perfect amount of coupling to that other pipe to be nice and strong. Okay, so I'm going to take about a third of the 2 inches, which is just over 5/8 of an inch, and I'm going to mark a line all the way around the pipe at 1/3 of the diameter. Okay, so I've got my 5/8 of an inch mark here. So now there's a couple different ways that I can do this. If this was a really critical, piping system or something like that, I can use the pipe fitter's handbook, and it'll actually give me increments all the way around this pipe that I mark. And then it'll actually tell me each increment the distance that I would want to make a line to give me the perfect cope all the way around. This is not all that critical because I can kind of grind this to fit. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to freehand, I'm going to draw in my layout that I'm going to cut for my saddle. Okay? So I'm just going to kind of go here, and then I'm going to flip it over. Well, I'll do the other side as well. And I'm going to flip it over and do the same thing. And that should give me a nice layout to cut so that I get my saddle on both sides. Alright, so here's my layout, and again, it's just eyeballed. But once I cut that out, I'm going to cut it out on the inside of the line, and then I'm just going to take like a worn down flapper disc and use the edge of it to shape this until it fits. Okay? That's about it. So I'll probably use the plasma to cut this, and then I'll show you my grinding. So here's one of the cuts, and now I can just shape that to fit with the grinder. So this is it after it's ground. This is just the first kind of rough grind, and I'm going to put it on there and see how it fits, and then I can adjust it from there. So it's important that on these sides it's kind of flattened out. Sorry, you can't really see through the camera here, that it's kind of flattened out so that it fits nicely on the edges of the pipe, and then goes to like a 90-degree here, so that it, that saddles around the pipe nicely. Alright, so it took a couple times trimming down. It was a little too long in the throat of the saddle, but got a nice fit up now, and it's at the right dimensions and all square and everything. So yeah, that's just how you do it. You kind of keep shaping it with the grinder, kind of flatten this out so that it fits nice and flush on there, and then leave this side in the bottom of the saddle at 90 degrees and just smooth it out so that it all fits nicely. That's about it. I can go ahead and tack it now. There you have it, all tacked up, ready for weld. Alrighty guys, hope you enjoyed that video. Hopefully that's helpful if you ever need to saddle some tubing like that or pipe. If you like the video, don't forget to give it a like. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and I'll be trying to do as many videos like this as I can in the future. So thanks for watching. Alright, good.